good evening. You already know who it is. It's Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Rodan.
Rodan.
Coming at you live from the
What?
215. Your comic book connoisseur. Your sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes here to welcome you to a brand new season.
Brand new season.
Episode
It's
1
new.
of the Blurred Bar, My BarFlyz. How y'all doing?
Woohoo.
And as you can already see, I am not by myself.
Not by itself.
Because if I was, I'd be doing this all by myself.
All by himself.
And why would I do that?
Never.
Right? It doesn't get the views. Jayhawk, how we doing?
Doing good, because, 'tis I, hailing from the land of sake, shinobi, and samurai. The boy is Godzilla personified. There is no other name but this to go by. It's your boy, Jayhawk. How you doing?
I forgot to do my sound.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I didn't know which one was
We
yours.
passed it.
It's above us now.
Now, in this new multiverse of madness, as we like to call here at the Blurred Bar, we have a host who's always been here.
Always been.
Because don't act like y'all don't know. But if you have to introduce yourself yet again to these BarFlyz, go ahead and do so.
As I do every week, this is your girl Alicia, aka Queen Cobb, aka Queen Anti-Flex, aka the video game Ventress, coming to you live from the Blurred Bar. How you doing? I'm good.
Hey.
I had to do it.
You did it.
And I achieved it. Yo, we are back.
Like we never left.
And we definitely left.
For a
For a minute.
4 or 6
Things
months.
happened.
Yeah.
Like,
What's happened?
I mean, Cobb's been here. She's always been here.
Yeah.
She's never
so
left.
nothing changed for her.
Right.
But
Yeah,
Literally, when the camera turned off and we faded to black, you never left the seat. Like, you were just always there. So we appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
But Josh,
hey,
you got new jewelry.
I do have new jewelry.
Man, how talk to us. How you been, man?
I've been good. I've been married for about 3 weeks now.
It's the longest 3 weeks.
I didn't say that.
No, it's as long as 3 weeks for
it
me.
was a
Just
great
because
3 weeks.
I haven't been able to talk to you for 3
Aw.
weeks. That's all it was. It was okay.
Nah, but it was dope. Hawaii was great. I biked down a volcano, so saw some tortoise
By choice,
or
too.
sea turtles and dolphins. So
Really?
I'm gonna love that sound all season long.
So yeah, no, it was great. Everyone I hear talk about our reception seemed to have a good time. So
Yo,
that's good.
it was a long night.
It was. I mean,
It was a
6
long
hours.
day. It was a long day.
That was 12 hours.
Was it though? It would feel like
I mean, it
more
started
than
at
that.
12 and it ended at 12.
Oh, the wedding was at 12. I was about to say because
Well, the wedding was at 2.
2. Yeah, see, but even
But we
before that,
started at 12. So, yeah.
yeah, it was wild.
Fun times.
Real fun. I'm glad we're through it.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
you.
I think there's an applause button somewhere here.
Yeah,
there we go. There's the applause button, right? Or we can do this one. We got new equipment up in here for season 5, so I will abuse the mess out of all this.
That's
I apologize in advance.
Don't apologize for the buttons.
Right?
There you go. What brings us to the table today?
Well,
What brings us
first,
to the
I
bird?
wanted to talk.
Oh, that's
I
real.
mean, ask
Yeah,
Cobb how she's been.
that's real.
You know,
That's true. Even though she never left.
She
There-
never
there
left.
could
She's
be
always
stuff.
been here.
Yeah, it's just been a day, so something new is today.
And hopefully you'll get through it.
Absolutely. So you want to ask me how I'm doing?
Sure. That.
I've been good. A lot of transition these past few months. I'm now working in a school with middle school students and
In Philadelphia, no less.
In Philadelphia,
That's
right?
wild.
At the school I actually graduated from.
Ooh.
And God, these middle school students, I just
Are you having that moment of like, I was never this wild, or is like,
yes,
that's-
every day I'm
that's
just
on
like
brand.
I wasn't like that. There's no way I was like that. These middle school students,
It's just a sign that we're getting older, right? But
absolutely.
and they're all just standing in the hallway doing the shake dance.
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay, I just
it's
assume that's what happens.
Nope, it's just
in
middle school
now.
students and their stupid middle school problems, and having to, connect with them and have empathy. It's just been tough. It's been a transition, but it's been challenging in like a really good way.
Okay.
So I'm happy to be there despite how much complaining I do. So
Mm.
that's just been
That's real.
what I've been doing. I've just been working.
Work.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. But
That's good.
yeah.
The good book says you don't work, you don't eat.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Also the government.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yep. And these loans,
Separation of church and state. Where?
these loans, these bills say absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
Not today.
Or next week. So you got a few choices. But yeah.
How about you, Dan? Big
How you
Dan?
doing?
You know, I haven't been sitting here, obviously, right? Like I've just been a dad during the whole summer.
Yeah. Probably for the rest of your life.
Probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm embracing it. I'm choosing
5 years.
right. I'm choosing not to be too upset by it. But
That's good framing.
you know, we are the choices we make, and I chose to be a dad.
Yes.
So, it's
Has the juice.
that too. But I'm trying to find the words because as of late I've become more embracing the concept of like cherishing the moments that are happening. Because anybody that knows last season, I was just kind of like, every day it's the same thing of like no sleep. Now it's like every day no sleep, but you know they do weird, cute stuff sometimes. Like, you know, my youngest, who's only a year old, is like, I pooped. And I'm like, cool, but you shouldn't be able to know how to say that and not address the problem yourself, right? Like, if you can speak it, you should also be able to be like, let me go grab a diaper, bring that to you. So, you know, just to make the transition.
You want her,
Who made that rule?
to grab the diaper?
Who said that was the rule?
I'm just expecting,
That's how it works.
I'm expecting more autonomy as they learn the English language.
Word. You're just ready for her to, like, you know, get her driver's license and
You
everything.
know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can speak, then I expect you to work.
Oh,
You know?
look at us. Just developing the workforce.
Right. You know, we are cultivating the next generation.
Absolutely.
Man.
So if you can do all that conversating and negotiating
Then you can pay
and
some
manipulation,
Then you can pay some bills.
then you
You
can pay some bills.
You can
Right.
pay some taxes.
That's all I'm asking you to do
Fill
is
out your
achieve
W-2.
achieve your dream while, you know, lessening the burden on me. That's all I'm asking. So until I can monetize whatever is going on with their development, I don't really want to be a part of it. That's a joke because I'm here. But yeah, other than that, we are season 1. I mean,
So
season
what
5,
brings us
episode
to
1.
the table now?
What brings us to? I don't know. We've been going for a while,
And we're back with
so
the
we're
jump
back. And I mean, is there anything you guys are excited for this season? No. Okay.
Oh, I'm excited for so much.
Okay.
You know, I'm excited. I think that we got some pretty good topics. You know, I'm excited to disagree with y'all and to agree. I'm excited for potential guests. I'm really excited about that because we're not that smart. So we want people who are experts in certain fields to be here. So I'm excited about
Preferably,
that.
yeah.
Yep. I'm excited about the drinks, the libations, and I'm excited to be here between y'all. I don't know if I'll
Yeah.
always be in the middle, but this feels good, and I'm excited about it.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to be definitely focusing a lot more on like bringing the content, bringing the cocktails and the culture. Like right now, what we sipping on? I think it's rum and ginger ale.
Oh, y'all are sipping on
Right. I'm
rum
sorry.
and ginger ale. I am just sipping on rum.
Fair enough.
So let's
So-
make that distinction now.
You gotta love the energy.
QC
Right.
in the building, drop bombs on them.
Oh, we want dolphin effects out here? Sure, why not? I don't want to get too heavy-handed with that button, but it's probably inevitable.
Best.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about TV, like just TV in general, and more so like, do y'all feel like there's like either like shows have too many episodes or like too short of episodes?
Depends on which channel we're talking about.
I know, and I mean we'll break it
which
down. We can
streaming
break it down
service.
a little bit more, but like I feel like episode counts have become highly important to our viewing pleasures. Like obviously, if you hear like an MCU show is being released, then the next thing you know, you're like, how many episodes is it? Disney Plus has been notorious lately for a lot of their famous content being only like 6 episodes, and you're like, I get it, budgets, things
I
like
don't
that.
get it. You can't talk about budget and Disney and be like, budget. Like, no. I refuse.
We'll break that. I mean, you want
We'll
to
talk about it later.
I mean, we can talk about it now. I feel like you got feelings, but
I just think that the 6-episode limit is
well,
stupid.
then, all right. I'll ask this question: how many episodes do you think a season of a show should have?
If it's 30 minutes, I would say 24 is a nice number.
Okay.
It gives you a lot of time to flesh out stories, especially depending on the content. Like, do I think that, like, what's his name? Caillou should have 24 episodes? Probably not. Right?
Caillou
Like,
got hundreds, by the way.
And why can't Caillou have 26 episodes?
I mean, I don't. You know what? I've never watched it, so I don't know that arc. I don't know what that arc looks like for him. But if you can squeeze it out, go ahead and rock out with your 24 to 26.
It's a lot of episodes about poor child development.
But
that's not what this podcast is about.
Not at all.
Can't unpack that today.
But like, I feel like actually there have been some good animes that have only been like 13 episodes, but like they usually have a story and then they end it. And unlike the Western society, I think they know when to end a story and then move on to the next. So there's that.
Well, I mean, what Jujutsu Kaisen has 24
I believe
in their
so.
first season.
Which is, and it was all a very good moving, like it kept, like it never dragged.
Right.
So
I think
it's the writing.
I feel like that's often the argument, right? Like people are upset by the idea that like if you have 24 episodes and then 12 of them are filler, then you could have just did a 13 episode season.
Right.
But I like to use Game of Thrones as like a baseline for me because they kept getting shorter and shorter seasons and suffocating the fan base of like wanting actual story and development. And then it just like, we all know how that last season of Game of Thrones was. It was not, it didn't play out to my liking.
And
but
you credit that simply to the length of the season? And
I would credit it to that because
I mean, they had an hour and a half each.
some did.
So yeah, it's not all of them.
Not all of them did, yeah.
Not all
And then, you would think if you are going to do a shorter season like that, then each episode should be like almost a movie. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially because there were so many unresolved threads.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just balled it up and put it in a plastic bag. And
Well, HBO did, come out and say, like, they had a plan for there to be more episodes and also that the episodes would be movie length. And that was a lie.
right.
Or
Lie detector determined that was a lie.
But I think, like, I'm thinking of, like, episodic shows where each episode is its own story. So typically, like, sitcoms. I don't think that they need to... Those are the ones that typically have longer seasons, right? Where it's, like, 26 episodes, sometimes even more. And I don't think that... And personally, like, shows like Family Guy and South Park, I don't think that they need... I don't even think that they need seasons, right?
That's
like,
true.
Like, because what would be the purpose of a second season when there's very little continuity? But I think some of the dramas, and obviously in the Marvel universe, and many of these limited series that are on like Netflix that are an hour, I think that there's just so much more pressure on writers to really capture a story. So I think it's harder. But I mean, as long as I think a lot of times like 7 episodes, 10 episodes, I think like lately have been fine. I feel like lately like they've been fine. It hasn't felt like really drawn out. It hasn't felt because the worst thing about a show is when you're at this point where it's like, all right, y'all need to wrap it up.
Yes.
Like this should have ended already. And sometimes I think
I really want to agree with you. I do. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think like the only show that I can think of, and y'all will hear this all season, as long as it comes up, I will talk smack about this show. The only show that I can think of that is an hour long that goes beyond like 20 episodes a season is Law and Order. SVU.
Law and Order, SVU.
Yep.
Grey's Anatomy, I think.
Grey's Anatomy
is also one that still does it. But
Yeah.
they're on the list of the longest running shows.
Longest running shows.
Of
But
so you're going to talk smack about SVU?
I can't stand SVU. I think it's an awful show.
Oh.
In more ways than one. And there's also very little continuity. So it feels I consider like SVU to be a sitcom. Sometimes I feel like there needs to be a laugh track.
I did not think I would be triggered on this episode.
I'm sorry.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I was like, I was going to mention SVU just in the conversation and didn't think I'd get pushback.
It's like equivalent to like Sesame Street or like the news.
You gotta
or like,
stop. That's not.
And that's no offense to Sesame Street, but I'm saying like Law and Order is just it really does give me sitcom vibes, and it's like I think singular stories can be shorter because it's one story, and I'm okay with that being shorter, right? Like some of the greatest shows of recent times have been shows that have had 10 episodes in a season.
Are always
which shows are you talking about?
That like singular story shows that have short seasons.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, Ozark.
Ozark was dope.
The Haunting on Hill House.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite shows. Those shows have some of those shows like first season, like pilot season, like 6 episodes.
Well, pilot seasons normally will traditionally have shorter episodes.
Sure.
Just
shorter
because
seasons.
you can't sell those to networks and expect them to be.
But even in season 2, like 8 episodes. Right. Like it's not that much longer, and I feel like.
Well, I mean, The Office only had what? 6 episodes for the first season,
and that first season wasn't that good. Like,
it wasn't.
Like compared like to the others, everything looked really gross. Production was like, it seems like they were trying to be more like the UK version.
Well, yeah.
So it was kind of nasty.
Steve Carell didn't have his hair plugs yet.
Yeah, and he like got like he was like kind of thick in like season 1, but he he looked like a different person.
No, he did.
But I think singular stories, it's okay if they're shorter, right? These longer these shows, these episodic shows, I mean I think that they can afford to be longer.
I get it. I'm still kind of hung up on the SVU thing.
I didn't mean to start that.
No, it's fine.
It was just something I was thinking about. You know?
Yeah, it was there. But I kind of agree with most of your argument outside the SVU thing.
Why does SVU have to have like 25 episodes?
Because it's one of the longest running shows on TV.
That's
not a reason.
On top of the fact that they give you I would argue that most of the stories, one, are tied to something related in the news, and they try to package it up.
Which is a problem.
Yeah, it can be. Because I don't always agree with each episode, but I've also haven't stopped watching. I've watched every season. I've watched mostly every episode.
I'm sorry. So sorry. I didn't mean to, you know.
No,
I didn't know.
I'm not like,
I didn't know.
I'm not like I wouldn't call myself a super fan, but you know. Yeah, I mean, we're also in season 23.
It's commitment.
So I get it. You know, I have different feelings about it. But there's a lot of shows like that. I mean, there's soaps that do that still. And I mean, there's still some that are still going to this day.
Okay, so I guess the question is, because you said there are soaps that still do that, and it's like, are we talking about all shows in general, or are we trying to like focus in on quality?
We can, I mean, but that was going to be my next question. Like, what is it that you consider to be too much or not enough based on quality?
The interesting thing,
because I would argue like Breaking Bad is one of the best shows ever, and it doesn't have 20 episodes.
People say The Wire is one of the greatest shows of all time.
The Wire is also one of them.
I don't know if Game of Thrones would be considered one of the greatest, but Game of Thrones had short seasons too.
Game of Thrones was up there until that last season.
I thought that the last season was okay. I don't think it was so much worse than.
I feel betrayed, but that's just because I feel like, yeah, I mean, there was reasons for that.
I got you. We can talk about it later. We can unpack that later. But even shows like The Walking Dead, like, despite like it falling from grace, another show that everybody tuned into every week at one point. Short seasons, right? And I think like
they only had like 12 episodes,
something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fine, right? You know, if the story is. There are very little shows that I can think of that had a little bit amount of episodes, especially like the hour-long ones, where at the end of it I was like, I wish this was longer. I mean, obviously I'm sad that it ended, but it's very few shows where I'm like, man, they could have did this and they didn't use their time right, or they could have did. I can't think of too many.
Oh, I can think of enough, only because now I've been watching so much content.
Okay.
largely Disney Plus content. But
I mean, they're dropping shows
left and
every
right
other month
Yeah.
or something. So
on top of the fact that like the turnover time, one, you hear about these shows like years in advance, and then for them to still come out with like, oh, it's going to be 6 episodes. Wait a minute, like
Why is that so bad? What's so bad about it being?
they tend to have really bad pacing problems.
Okay.
Which we've talked about here a lot, of just like my argument often will stand on like Obi-Wan having really bad pacing. All of a sudden they wanted you to care for specific characters, and
I
then,
feel like I feel like the Obi-Wan show in general you could have just threw away.
I mean, sure.
And then the question is like, if the show was longer, would it have made it a better show?
I don't think so. In the case of Obi-Wan.
But that's the gambit, right? Like, because you're like, if it was longer, does it make it better? I feel like I watch shows sometimes and I'm like, I just got to get through it because now I'm 5 episodes into the season.
I hear that's what the Marvel Universe does to people. It's kind of like you're in it and you have to commit, even if it's absolutely terrible.
That is 100% me now. I'm
My
like,
gosh.
I have to see this through. Like,
You have
however
agency.
it ends.
You are a person. You can make choices. You can say no.
I have to see it through. There's nothing about that anymore. Like, one, I'm still reading Marvel comic books.
Got it.
So, they continue to write these stories kind of along the lines of the popularity of the shows. For better or for worse, it doesn't benefit them comic book wise because no one really reads comic books as much anymore. But, I got to see it through. I'm here now. I've spent, the upwards of like 13 years now of Marvel stuff. Got to see it through.
Are you okay? Like, it feels like when I
like
hear
you're a
people,
hostage.
yes,
Sure.
and I'm the outside looking in because I'm not really big into the Marvel Universe, and I just feel like, why are y'all? Do y'all need help?
Maybe we might need to unpack it. I think with Disney Plus and a lot of their Marvel shows, especially being 6 episodes long, it definitely feels like there are certain things that we're just supposed to accept and move along with. And sure that it almost feels like they're just telling me and not showing me. And I feel like if the story is written well enough, you can really show the story and unravel the plot without it being like, and now we're in India for no reason, and she just learned all these tricks, and we're done.
Yep.
So or Pakistan. Sorry.
It was Pakistan. I mean, technically, during the time of partition, it was still India until the partition.
It was Pakistan.
Well, so the on the other hand of that, I would also say like there's shows where I feel like I'm not getting enough episodes because I enjoy the show so much.
Such as
Demon Slayer.
Really?
I feel like we get doses, and it'll be like 8 weeks sometimes. Well, how many episodes was it this time?
Wasn't it like only 13?
Was it 13?
Or
Yeah.
The
like-
entertainment district.
yeah.
And I was
Think
like,
so.
that wasn't enough for me.
Is that because they ramp up at the right time?
Their
And so,
pacing
like-
is amazing.
It was
And
good
so, like
pacing.
at the end of it, the climax, you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
snap! Let's see
Yeah.
the next one." And you're like, "Nah, you gotta wait, bro."
It's good writing, it's good pacing, and it's quality wrapped up in an anime, and then you're like,
But I think that's a lot of
And then I
things with
gotta
anime,
wait.
though. Like
Yeah.
anime, like if it's 13 episodes long, I'm like, there's a good chance that this story is really good, or at least passable, and that I will be able to like finish it and be like, as if I finished a book. I'm like, that was a good book.
Yeah, and it did.
I've
it
been
did
feeling
its
that
job.
with
It
the
did
like
its job.
One Punch Man too. That's me.
That's
but,
funny.
But it did its job though.
It did its job.
If at the end of it you're like, because that's another thing that I wanted to bring up is that if even this idea of shows releasing weekly versus releasing an entire show, even though like yes I would like to just binge this new show, but there's like this level of excitement of having to wait, like that we can't deny, where it's like we want it all at once, yeah. But at the same time, like, what's better than remembering? Oh, this week is Demon Slayer. Like today's Demon Slayer,
I
and I
agree.
think that if at the end of the show you just want more, and there's like this excitement and not disappointment, then they did their job, right? And
I would
that just
agree.
creates
I'd agree.
more excitement for the next season, right? And they can get you to wait 2 years. Yeah. You can wait 2 years for the next one.
You gotta hold it.
strong.
You gotta hold it.
Okay.
You have to hold this one because it's longer.
Sure.
I see. And you can wait 2 years. A lot of times, like Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, which we can talk about later, they have us waiting for such a long time, yet we still are ready when it comes around. And imagine like not caring, that a new season's coming out, right?
I felt like there were a lot of shows that did get their second and third season because of the pandemic. Like it was delayed, and I was like, I don't care about you anymore.
Like,
I wish I could remember them. I really do. But
you stopped caring to the point of like forgetting.
But no, like I remember because they came back and I was like, oh snap, this is the third season. And then I got into it and I was like, I really just don't care about this.
Yeah.
And that happened like once or twice. And I have to like really think about what those shows were.
I mean, for me, it's My Hero. I do not care.
yeah.
I'm trying so hard.
Yeah.
I finally got past the Christmas episode. Remember when I told you about the Christmas episode? I was like, I'm stuck on the Christmas episode. I just got past
it. Sounds like that's a filler.
It was such a filler episode, and I was like, but I'm one of those people that like if I'm 101 episodes in, I'm going to watch each episode.
I don't know. After dealing with Naruto, like
But
there was like
people
a
out here
whole
who
season
watch-
of filler, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna skip
There's
that.
somebody out here who has watched all 1,000+ episodes of One Piece.
There are many people out here.
That's true.
Yeah,
They strong out here in the streets.
I was going to say a few and leave it at that. But, I'm not going to disrespect them.
We don't want to embarrass anybody.
I'm not going to shame them either.
Wow.
But, like,
But I was like, fillers can be good. Like, to make a good fillers have a point. It's just that many writers have not,
I mean, I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was like, well, has any Dragon Ball Z filler ever been good? And I was like,
that's basically saying that 75% of the show is.
so.
You can't do that. You can't
Not,
say
it's
Dragon
not
Ball Z
75
filler.
because I actually did the math and I actually like looked it up, like what was like canonical and then what was considered filler, based on like writing, and it's about 60% of his canon. But like,
Are we talking Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super?
Dragon Ball Z. So, I was trying to think of some filler episodes, and I only thought of two. It was the one when Vegeta had like the red hair on that one planet, but it was like really early in the Saiyan saga, and then the Goku versus Pikkon fight, and that was it. Other than that, I couldn't think of anything good for like Dragon
Well, maybe
Ball
because
Z
like
filler.
I considered filler when I was young, like episodes that got there where there was very little progression. I would just write that off
Goku
as
just
filler.
charging up
Yeah,
for a whole
basically.
episode.
But the thing is, there was like this level of excitement and still like this commitment to what happens next.
Find out
despite
next
it.
time on Dragon Ball
And that was
Z.
exciting as a kid, but
Now,
as an adult, I'm not trying to. No, I'm not trying
When
to
I
deal
was
with
a
that.
child, I thought as a child. Put
Yeah.
away childish things.
just standing by waiting.
But for a very short season, especially like a show that has like this singular story, for it to be like 6 to 10 episodes, even 6 to 12 episodes, you get like attached to these characters in the story, and I think that it has to be so difficult to create all of that in six hours. Like that's tough.
And
That's a lot.
And I think I can relate, at least, or empathize at least with like the way show running has to happen. One, like a show literally has to pay a bunch of people for a set amount of time and record and like distribute these things in a certain amount of time. A network orders a certain amount of episodes, yada yada yada.
The business.
The business, right?
Or just being a good writer who can pace your show, right? Because these shows like Breaking Bad have done so well with a short amount of episodes because the writer knew how to pace the show, right?
They knew what the story.
They knew what the story. They knew the story already. But many of these other shows like Law and Order, and I hate to like, but many of these shows are developing. They're creating stories as they go, right? It's just like, okay, what's next, right? And I don't mean to put.
No, it's fine.
But I'm just saying, like, when you already know the story, when you already know how you're gonna cut up the story and pace it, then maybe 6 episodes is just enough, and it'll be enough for you, because at the end you'll feel excited but fulfilled, and I think like there's that greed and I don't know whether it's just like specific to the West, but it's almost like we feel entitled to more. And it's like, didn't you enjoy like what I just gave you?
No.
Can't you just be
and yet you
satisfied
still
with
want
this plate
more.
that I put in front of you?
Like, you are happy, you are feeling emotions. That's not disappointment, and yet you still want more. Like, come on, yo.
I
be having that same feeling with my kids, and it's just like, I just fed you, and you out here asking for animal crackers. Like, do you understand the meal that was just set before
just
you?
want a little snack.
You like the meal, right?
Right.
The meal was good, right?
I mean, you also ate off your sister's plate, but you out here still, now you know the word more.
I think my only pushback is that I have not come across any 6-episode, 7-episode season that was good. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
WandaVision? What was that, 8?
Not 6
Or was
or
it 7? Was it 8?
So what's the difference between 6 and 7 and 9 and 10?
I'm just
like, what's really?
it must be the writing and the pacing. I don't know. I'm saying the ones that have been brought up or have presented themselves are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. A lot of them being because recently Marvel,
Bob's
Disney
Burgers.
Plus has
I'm sorry,
been-
Black
Bob's
Mirror.
Burgers was for me.
Black Mirror.
But Black Mirror was episodic, right? So it
Yeah.
doesn't.
It was an
It
anthology.
wasn't like-
It was an
yeah.
anthology, so it didn't. Oh, American Horror Story.
I never
Do we like
watched
American
it.
Horror?
I haven't been a big horror fan, and
At least I'm here. I'm here now, so I can.
you've been here.
You've always been here.
Yes.
But I've never been a big horror person just because like I don't get the appeal of like.
So
being-
So are
being
you trying
scared.
to get back
No.
at me?
No,
Then?
no. This
So
is
because
not.
I said
This is
something
not.
about-
This is not. This
I
was
mean,
not a
SVE1
get back.
Round
horror,
2.
and you-
This wasn't a get back. This was
Counter.
literally me explaining on my side why I don't do horror. I don't get the appeal of being, like, running the risk of being scared, right?
There's so much appeal in being afraid.
Sure, I'm afraid on a regular basis. I'm a black man in Philadelphia, but it's not the same as like, let me see if this is gonna scare me. Let me see if this is gonna keep me up at night. I can't watch shows like that.
Is that the point of horror?
I would assume so, which is why, right? Like, I don't go in the ocean because I know there's jellyfish in there. Therefore, I don't. You know. But it's not this episode.
We can talk about it later.
But yeah, I just haven't seen that many
Yeah,
things.
I was
that,
gonna.
like-
My argument was that the first season of Bob's Burgers for me was, I think, less than. It may have been only 5 episodes for the first season, and I'm like, I love every episode of that.
Well, let's be real here. It was on Fox.
It was on Fox.
And Fox has a tendency to cancel quite easily, so I think
They went in playing it safe with
playing it very safe, and
with
it
a small
happened, and it
episode.
worked.
It was big payoff, and it might be my favorite season still. I've watched all
Oh,
of Bob's
okay.
Burgers, but this is still my favorite season.
But that's like one. I think you named one show.
Rick and Morty.
I was gonna say
Their
Rick and
first
Morty.
season
It
was the first season 10 episodes.
I don't
I
remember.
think it is.
I
It
know
is,
their
actually.
seasons are relatively short.
They
And
have
Did it
10
get shorter
episodes.
with time?
No, it's always the first season. Technically has 11 episodes because there was that one preamble one, and then the rest. But everything else, they've always had a 10 episode.
And that's
season.
like ridiculous for a cartoon.
I mean, if they didn't argue all the time, they'd be able to write stuff that
Good
right,
point.
good episodes.
Cartoons like sitcoms, cartoons. I think that they are the ones that can have extra long seasons. But then again, nowadays, like a lot of cartoons have like this continuity.
Big continuity too.
Yeah, where a lot of them are like Steven Universe. I think Steven Universe seasons were a little bit longer, or maybe just like a regular.
Adventure
13.
Time was also like longer. They had like 20 something episodes sometimes.
But then as Adventure Time sort of went on, that's when it had like more continuity.
Yeah.
But
I get into Adventure Time.
I know.
I was never big into it. I just thought it was really cute. But I remember when it changed. Like there was just this one season where things just got more serious,
Yeah.
and it was like night and day for me.
It was after the Lich King, I think.
Was that like season 5 or something when it started to
Yeah.
like there wasn't a lot of like laughing and
No, like it was literally
There wasn't any more joy
like
in the world.
Finn's hero, like the person he modeled himself after got possessed.
Okay.
And then right after that, like he lost his arm, so he's like depressed and like he.
I remember episodes when they were just talking and there was no joking, and I'm like,
there was like
what
deep
happened?
philosophy in that show, and I appreciated it. But that's just me. I know Josh couldn't get into it, but it's okay. It wasn't for everybody. It's for anybody, not everybody.
But it's gonna go down in history as
one of the greats.
It did inform. I think it is informing or has informed like a new, some like depth in cartoons. I can't really name.
Yeah, I mean that Gravity Falls.
Yep, I've been hearing so much about that. I haven't watched it yet. A lot of young people are telling me about that.
Is that a cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney's actually.
I mean, we can put it on Avatar. But I
Last
think
Airbender.
Yeah, no spoilers. I'm on the last season, but Avatar is the first one I can think of, and then Adventure Time maybe.
You said you didn't like the last season?
I said I'm on the last season.
Oh, you're on the last season.
Like, I didn't really watch it when it was
going
out.
on. Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But that
let us know how that goes.
I think it's just such a great show.
Well, yeah.
I wish I had it when I was.
I wish wait for this live action on Netflix. See how that goes.
Is it made by our guy M Night?
No.
Represent.
Philly all day.
Montgomery County, actually. 10 minutes outside of Philly.
What a twist. I was just trying to think of if there's anything else that I could think of around like. Well, first, BarFlyz. Let us know how you feel. Do you think that season should have longer, a longer episode or higher episode count for your hour shows, or what's the prerequisite for a long? Breakdown? Yeah, like what's for a long season? Because I feel like now a lot of people, a lot of production companies, a lot of networks are only doing 13 episodes per season, which makes sense because it is a season. 13 weeks is.
I think that's fine. I think that could be really good if you have really good writing, and it seems like if you know what you're doing, that should be a very fulfilling story.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Abbott Elementary out here and doing it.
It hasn't that been relatively short?
There's 30 minutes, yeah.
Oh, there are 30-minute episodes.
30-minute episodes, and they're
it was only 13 last season.
And I didn't hear any
tops.
complaints.
Yeah.
So maybe we can we at least get to a point where it's like the episode count does not seem to matter as much as the quality of the show, the writing, what they can get done in the time that they give us.
I think with a shorter season, the expectation is higher.
Higher, yes.
Yes.
If you can't give me a wrapped up, like a beginning, middle, and end in 6 episodes, I lose faith in you the next time you promise this. Because I think even The Mandalorian is like often 10 episodes. Because it knows.
That, right?
I think it's 10. Yeah. Sometimes. I think one season was like 8. Who knows? But
Google does.
Google does. I feel like if we can start getting a better relationship or understanding with these writers to like be consistent, because sometimes what the fact of the matter is that the writer is not writing every episode. The director isn't directing every episode, and so they tell them 2 different stories, and then expecting you to just kind of be like, oh, they got the same show title, so you know what I mean? Because Daredevil. Born Again that's supposed to be on Disney Plus is 19 episodes.
Wow.
Already. They were just like, that's what it's going to be.
That's definitely going to be a multi-directorial.
Oh, definitely.
And y'all are probably going to be bored. Like, y'all are probably going to be fed up.
You have
and I'm just saying,
stop.
I'm just saying, like,
slander.
I'm just saying, like, there's, like, so much. Not every writer is going to be interested in shows being a cash grab, right? There's so much pressure on writers to continue. Even there's like anger at shows where it's like, this is going to be the only season. It's like, I can't wait until there's a season 2. It's like, like it's okay for there to be a short story. Like, can we give like, it doesn't have to be like, there doesn't have to be a spinoff. There doesn't have to be a continuation. You know, it's always this pressure to continue. And I feel like
I don't think that's on us. I think that's on the networks.
No,
I would
it's on the networks and who do the networks put that on? No, not on us as like viewers. We are putting pressure. We are also putting pressure just by talking about it, by watching it. That obviously like networks see that as like
solid point.
All right, we can make something more out of this. And sure, they put pressure on writers, but it comes viewership, right? And also like fans are quite like entitled.
fans can be entitled.
I
and
will.
Are entitled.
My counter argument would only be that the MCU did this to us. Just across the board for everybody, media in general, everyone is impacted by this. The MCU came in and built a universe, and so now the difficulty is that a lot of networks want to do that for themselves and build a universe of shows.
My question is, and it's a question that we've asked many times on this show, is are they listening to people when they say, like, who asked for this?
I don't know. Sometimes they don't be hearing us.
Because I haven't seen it, y'all. But I mean, from what I hear, Doctor Strange, the movie that recently came out, was not that good. But it made $500 million, right? So it's like nobody asked for it, but y'all are watching it.
No, Doctor Strange, we asked for. We didn't get what we asked for.
But the thing is, like, Disney and Marvel just seem to have this monopoly on the film industry, and y'all can't. How long can y'all sort of like fall back on? Oh, I'm already committed, or I'm already in it, so I have to continue. Like, how long is that going to be? And I understand,
I don't like your tone. I don't like your tone. It's honestly, that's where I stand at the point.
I got
at this point in time, I don't like your tone.
I understand. I got you, man. I know that this is a sensitive topic for y'all because y'all are just in. What do they call that?
In the zeitgeist?
That syndrome when you're like kidnapped and you sort of fall
Stockholm?
in love. Yes, I understand. It's like some weird, strange Stockholm syndrome.
But hear me out.
Yep.
Hear me out. What I'm saying is, right? Because the accusatory tone that comes from this is that it's just like right, like it's an us thing, right? Like us versus them. And
Not at all.
I'm just saying, there was a time when us, the viewership as a whole, like went to see mostly every Disney movie, right? Like I remember at one point having the entire Disney VHS collection. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's always kind of been an innate sense of making sure like you don't miss, right? Like the FOMO or whatever of the conversation. The internet has definitely increased that because you're like, oh, why is everyone tweeting about the red wedding? And then you're like, oh, I get why they, so you don't want to miss that moment again. You always want to be up on it. Hence the reason why we have a podcast.
But can it at least be enjoyable? Because sometimes y'all describe it in a way where it's not, and y'all are engaging in it and consuming in it, but in some cases
it's
it
definitely
doesn't
the
seem
machine.
enjoyable.
It's like all of us are characters in WALL-E, and it's just kind of just like on that.
I think we're even more sensitive. We being legitimately people in the podcast industry, or reviewing industry, are definitely more sensitive to it because if you want your podcast to pop, you have to stay relevant. You have to go watch it. Like there have been many shows that I was like, I'm only watching this because I'm a part of this podcast.
Facts.
Looking at you, Bad Batch, and I only watched like 3 episodes of that.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely think there are some things where it's like, oh, I wouldn't even care to, but like if I have to have an opinion on it, it only would work best if I've seen it, so I can have.
You got your opinion has to be validated based on the fact that like you actually.
So it's just work, right?
Sometimes
it's turning entertainment into work.
For some of it. Like I can watch Demon Slayer with pure excitement and never consider.
Oh yeah,
like,
I feel like everybody can and should. But I mean, I just sometimes when it comes to like MCU, I'm just like, do y'all like it?
It's work.
Help me understand, like, because I'm hearing a lot of complaining. I'm hearing a lot of anger. I'm hearing a lot of resentment. So do y'all actually enjoy this?
You know what I think it is? I think it's
It sounds like an abusive relationship.
Because we're wondering when it's gonna end.
Yet you keep on. It's gonna get better.
It's gonna get better. They're gonna end it. They're gonna wrap this thing up.
He'll change.
No,
he didn't mean it last time.
Or I can change him.
Right.
Somehow y'all opinions will somehow matter someday, and it won't.
It won't until you don't buy the ticket.
And I understand we're talking about masses. We're talking about millions of people here.
Right.
But it's like
you just don't see him the way I do.
And I think
no, he loved me. He cares about me. The MCU cares.
I think the thing is the engine behind the Marvel machine, which is Disney, knows how to mass market. So like it's never going to be a massive like 500 people didn't go see the movie, right?
Right.
Like they're
Well,
always
like-
gonna make that recoup. They're always gonna recoup unless it's a really, really bad
Disney
movie.
knows what they're doing.
But
They've
you
been
saw
doing-
the what was it? The Expo, the Disney Expo.
D23, I did not see it.
Or all the stuff that came out of it.
Just a bunch of racists.
Well, not just the Little Mermaid, but like
That's all I've heard about it.
like they have what was like 15 movies slated that aren't even Marvel related to come out within the next 3 years. Prequel to Lion King that
I heard
nobody asked
I've
for.
heard about that.
But you know what I'm saying?
Mufasa?
Nobody
Yeah.
asked for that.
Nobody asked for that.
But
The Gen Zs definitely didn't.
the droves of people who will go see it
They're
just
gonna.
to either to crap on it or to hope that it becomes enjoyable.
You know what it is? Especially with the non-Marvel stuff. If the trailer don't pop, I don't need to see it.
But it's so easy for a trailer to pop. At this
Nowadays.
point,
Not for me.
this is why I don't watch
Right?
trailers anymore.
All you need is a chopped up Kanye or Jay-Z song.
That is not true.
with some,
That
with
might
some,
be true
like,
for you guys, but
with just like the intensity
Yeah,
strings.
Black people do love chopped and screwed. If you put that on
Yeah.
anything,
But like just chop up a song and then just like chung, 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 all the changes in the scenes and then just like you're like, oh, I can't wait.
like, were you? And please be honest, were you excited when you saw the Morbius trailer?
No,
You weren't.
no.
have you seen Morbius?
We saw it.
We saw it. Yeah.
I knew it was gonna fail. One off of the strength.
Wait,
of
did
just,
you
like,
hate? But you hated Leto.
I don't enjoy when Leto does anything superhero related, comic book related. Like he
music-
needs to stop.
His music.
I know, but like we're past that now. He even had a cult at one point. Like he's all of that power. What happened?
MCU. That's what happened.
He's not even in it. He's technically not MCU.
Really?
Yeah,
Sony.
he's Sony
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and
Okay, that
DC. He's
okay.
put his hands in the wrong pots. That's what it's been. I mean, this man was an Academy Award winner, and then just like
What do you win Academy Award for? Oh, like that. Don't tell me.
It was a period piece or something like that.
Dallas Buyers Club. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say
the other thing where he like plays.
the drug addict. The drug addict?
Oh no.
No, that's a different movie.
No, he's Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey.
I mean, it could have been. I
I
just
was
thought there
thinking
was
of
another
like
movie.
Requiem for a Dream, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's way back there, but yeah. Anyway, we have certainly stumbled on for a little bit here, but I think, and once again, the call of action would be, let us know what you guys think. If we had some good opinions here, let us know.
Think
If you
Cobb brought that
disagree-
fire.
If you disagree with Cobb about SVU, you know what I'm saying?
That
let
was
her know.
odd. Oddly specific.
Honestly, like,
I'm
this is
just-
my State of the Union. Tell me why. What keeps you watching SVU? Is it just the
I wish we had
excitement
someone behind the camera to like zoom in.
there has to be
we
this
can get
level.
it in post.
I don't understand. Tell me why. I'd like to know honestly. Why do you watch it? What
I don't even
enjoyment
know
do you
why.
get out
I
of
don't
it?
even know why
And-
because I would just be like,
You know, I tell you why when I watch SVU, it's either late at night and I'm about to go to bed, or it's a lazy Saturday. But I am not like some people who like watch it for real.
oh yeah,
A lot of people watch it for. And you know what? I will not be mad at people who go on to be people that actually work in the field of criminal justice, actually do it, and they see what it's what it's really like. And if they say, "Hey, I got into this field doing this great work because of SVU," I can't be mad at somebody for that because I think that SVU does or may actually impact people in a way where they go and learn.
I mean, it changed Ice-T's life.
In what way?
I mean, he used to be from like F the police, and now he like
He was
I am
in, wasn't he in like New York Undercover or NYPD
no,
Blue?
it
Wasn't
was
he already
yeah.
a cop before he was a cop?
It was a joke.
Yeah,
But-
it wasn't a good joke,
I
you know,
know.
because SVU is like I see its potential value, but its delivery is just awful. They're awful.
Sometimes
show.
the execution is bad. There's so much to unpack about this, and it's not related to this.
Maybe
episode.
we start talking about real world problems and how television tries to incorporate real world problems and somehow connect it to entertainment and how that's always a bad idea. Orange is the New Black being a great example.
Well,
The Wire,
that's an episode down the
Oz,
line.
How like TV shows like you don't have a
Wire.
responsibility. You don't have to be activist or it's not your responsibility to provide to give us
You're
awareness.
giving us a peek
I
behind the
want to
veil
be
of the
entertained.
episode.
Yep.
That's a whole
That's
different episode.
interesting.
We'll talk about it later.
Well, this
That's
season
not this episode.
this season is going to blow up, and I can't wait. But as I said before, and this will be the last time I say it, if you have any opinions, comments, questions, or concerns, let us know in the comments. And as always, y'all have a blessed night. Peace out.